Hello everyone, what's up? Pro17 here with another video review. Today I'm reviewing LEGO Star Wars set number 75218 X-Wing Starfighter from Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope. But before we take a look at the set, let's go ahead and take a look at the box. Pardon the boxes this week. It's a little banged up, so it doesn't exactly see. It just fell over. It doesn't exactly sit right. So I'm going to have to lean it against the wall when we get. When I put it back. But, so yeah, here it is, LEGO Star Wars. I got this on sale at Walmart. Yay! It's actually one of the reasons I picked it up. It was a nice sale, and I had Christmas money. Over here, we have some characters that you may or may not like, depending on your opinions on the new movie. I'm not going to mention that. So here we have the set. Here we have the minifigures. Then over here it is for ages 8 to 14. Of course, that's just suggestion. They have to put that on there. 75218 is the X-Wing Starfighter. 730 pieces. It's a built-in toy in several different languages. Disney! So flipping it around. On the back, we have the set and more things that it does. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the box. Lean that against the wall because, like, the bottom doesn't work very well. So here we have the X-Wing Starfighter. I've been collecting LEGO Star Wars for over 10 years at this point. And this is the first time I've ever gotten an X-Wing. Part of me is surprised by this, but another part of me is not surprised by this because in terms of collecting, I prefer to collect stuff from the Clone Wars era because I feel like the vehicles are just a little cooler. Also, that's the era I grew up in, so of course I'm going to be a little more inclined to go with the era I grew up in, like people that grew up during the original trilogy era are a little more inclined to like stuff from the original trilogy. That's how it goes. But, I mean, the X-Wing is such an iconic ship that eventually I knew I was going to have to get one. And so what happens? One day I'm walking around Walmart after Christmas, and then they've got their big clearance aisle, and what is back there but this particular set? Usually, as it says in a little sticker up there, it was $80, it was down to $50, and I had plenty of Christmas money on hand, so it's like $50 for 730 pieces in an iconic spaceship from Star Wars. Yeah, I'll buy it. I'll get that. So here we have the X-Wing. I never thought. Yeah, I knew I would probably get one eventually, but it's one of those things that I would always like, I'll get it eventually. And so when this set was revealed, I was like, oh, look, another X-Wing. Okay, that's cool. Didn't really think anything of it, but I'm glad I bit the bullet on this one and decided to get it because this is actually a really cool set for a couple different reasons. Some of those we'll get into here in a minute. So let's start with the minifigures. So here we have R2-D2. Yep, it's R2. I kind of went over the specifics of his design in Anakin Skywalker's Jedi Starfighter last summer. This is now my second version of that same R2. So for years I only had one version of R2 that was terribly outdated with the old dome that didn't completely cover that piece. And now I've got two of these. So that's cool. So then here we have Luke Skywalker. He has a double-sided face. No hair, though. He does not come with hair, which is a little disappointing. So he always has to have his helmet on, but oh well. I've got plenty of hair pieces for him to use. Of course, he does come with his father's lightsaber. And then he does look very good in his Rebellion pilot suit. And these are new helmet pieces, as far as I'm aware. These are fairly new helmet pieces for the X-Wing fighter stuff, where they actually have the orange glass printed or molded into the helmet, so that way the minifigures don't have to have them printed on the faces anymore, like with the U-Wing pilot and X-Wing pilots of the past. Now, these aren't the only minifigures that come with this set, because this isn't necessarily Luke's X-Wing. So here we have, let me see, what's the box say? R2-Q2. This is R2-Q2, the astromech for Biggs Darklighter, who we'll get to in a second. Very nice looking astromech. Very gray, but, you know, astromechs come in all different colors. So, very cool minifigure. If I can get him back in there. There we are. Then we'll open up the cockpit, and then here we have the doomed one himself, Biggs Darklighter. Mr. Come Out of Nowhere, who are you, and why are we just now meeting you? Oh, wait, your scenes were deleted, Darklighter. So, yeah, Biggs looks very, very cool. Very accurate to the film with the helmet printing. He looks very nice, and then, of course, he, too, has a double-sided face. I love for a character that's doomed that Biggs Darklighter is really only notable for dying. He has two very cheery expressions. So here's one. And there's another. The mustache very nicely resting underneath the orange of the helmet. So yeah, it's nice to have him. So I mean, you've got the red shirts in Star Trek. If you're if you're an X-Wing pilot and your last name is Darklighter, you might as well be, your shirt might as well be red, because Biggs is just one of those characters that really he's only notable for dying because well, I mean, even if his scenes from earlier in the film hadn't been deleted, he still would probably only be known for dying, because that's the only reason he was introduced at the beginning of the film, only to be cut anyway, is to set up this character. Hey, Luke knows him. Oh, we should be sad when he gets blown up. Except those scenes got cut, so the sad music plays when he gets blown up. We're like, wait, who's that guy again? I don't know. I guess Luke knew him. Anyway, so that's one of the funny things about Star Wars that I like. So yeah, here we have an X-Wing. It's very cool. This is probably, from what I've seen, probably the best version of an X-Wing we've got, or at least a T-65B X-Wing, because the X-Wings that we see in The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi, oh no, I said it, and Resistance, those are T-70 X-Wings, which are a generation after this model. So, let's get into some of the play features with this here. So, if I could stand Luke back up. So, here we are. So, of course, it does come with a landing gear for when you want to have it in landing mode and have it resting on your shelf. So, you can pull that up, and then let's just kind of do a turnaround here. I mean, the details on this thing are gorgeous. I mean, this stuff back here especially really impressed me. The build back here, because it looks like machinery, and it does kind of have that. It does kind of keep that octagonal shape, or whatever whatever that shape is. Octagon. Octagon's 8 sides. I didn't do well in geometry, so whatever shape that is, I don't think it's a pentagon either. Anyway, so it does keep that shape back there, which is nice. You've, of course, got transparent pieces here to make it look like the engines are going. So overall, very, very, very cool. So now we get into the main feature of an X-Wing, is you want to lock the S-foils in attack position. So, of course, you got this little thing here. You just push it forward. And there we have the X-Wing in attack position. So, very, very cool. I mean, no matter what angle you're holding this thing at, it looks awesome. It looks straight out of the movies, if the movies were blocky, child-friendly toys. And so overall, just really, really cool. So as well as having the cannons on each wing, it does come with missile launchers. So that's nice. So you can pretend that you're shooting these blasters by just firing. So very, very cool. Just plug that back in. There we are. And then, of course, we have stud shooters here, which are where the proton torpedoes would launch from. So you can fire, as the box is showing off, you can fire your proton torpedoes and blow up the Death Star. Well, not this guy. This guy isn't going to blow up the Death Star. Luke is going to blow up the Death Star. This guy's just going to blow up. So, and then if you want to reset the wings, you just push on that, and there they go, snapping right back into position. Everything kept in place with rubber bands. So, yeah, pretty cool toy. I really like this. This is pretty cool. It looks great. And I'm So I'm glad I waited this long to pick up an X-wing because this thing's actually really cool. It's probably, like I said, it's probably one of the best X-wings we've gotten. Now, interesting thing about the X-wing, I actually prefer the T-70 design that we've seen in the sequel era. There's something about the way the wings collapse together and the engine housing that I just like more. They're also, I think, slightly smaller ships, so they're a little sleeker. I just like those designs better. But I mean, this is an iconic classic design, so I'm very, very happy with this. This is cool. Now, one thing about this set that I'm not able to show off, which I'm embarrassed about, is that the instructions tell you this. And where did I put them? I lost those too. Oops. Is that the instructions is that you get 2 spare pieces, and the instructions say that if you trade out some pieces here, I feel like they go underneath. I think they're these pieces here. Don't quote me on that. It's something. It's something to do with underneath the wings. If you flip out a couple pieces from underneath the wings, you will then transform this from being Biggs's X-wing to Luke's X-wing. So you actually kind of get 2 X-wings in one here. It's not a major change. It's just a palette swap essentially of a couple colored plates. And then of course you can switch out the minifigures, and then you go from Biggs's X-wing to Luke's X-wing. The only problem is I've kind of, I wouldn't say lost. No, yeah, I'll say lost. I have lost those said pieces, so I haven't had this very long. But I guess I think what happened is I put those in my spare parts bin. And then I looked a little closer at the instructions. I'm like, oh, so those 2 spare pieces had a purpose. I'm like, oh dear, I'm not going to be able to find those now. So oops, that's what I get for not looking that close at the instructions. So an error on my part, but it's such a small thing. It's such a small thing that it's worth mentioning, but I don't really feel guilty about not showing it off. So yeah. So this set's pretty cool. It's a little older at this point because, well, as you can see, I got it on clearance because they needed to make room for new stuff on the shelves. So you're gonna maybe start to be hard pressed to find this. It's still around. I see it occasionally, but I think it just happened to be that my local Walmart was getting rid of old stock so they could bring in new stuff for the new year. But so I still see it around, but it is becoming rarer and rarer. So if you're looking for an X-wing of the T65 variety, then I would certainly recommend this set. It's a very, very cool set. It looks great in any Lego Star Wars collection, and I'm very happy that I have it. I think it's very, very cool. So yeah, that'll pretty much be it for this review. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, all that great stuff. Remember to follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Those links are in the description below. I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.